Hello everyone, and welcome again to California Lutheran University and to our 2016 Thousand Oaks City Council Candidates Forum. My name is Rick Leno, and I am the immediate past chairman of the board for the Greater Canal Valley Chamber of Commerce, and they're our host for tonight's event. First, on behalf of this year's chair, Matt Madura, he was unable to be here tonight, I want to welcome you, as well as by Adam Haverstock, who is our government affairs person, and of course our president and CEO, Joe Lederer, and on behalf of the president of our university, Chris Kimball. Thank you all for attending tonight's forum, and thank you also to our candidates for coming out yet again tonight to tell us a little bit about their plans for the city of Thousand Oaks and how that might affect other areas of California. In addition to being heard by today's audience, the recording of this candidates forum is being recorded by KADY-TV. It will be distributed through the Chamber of Commerce's social media and email distribution channels and will be broadcast on Thousand Oaks Television, what we all know as TOTV. Before I introduce tonight's moderator, I want to take a moment to recognize those who have made tonight's event possible, our sponsors. It's through their support that the Greater Canal Valley Chamber of Commerce is able to provide programming like tonight's event for the community. First Cohen, Vegan and Deck LLP, Waste Management, event host, California Lutheran University, and media sponsor, KADY-TV. Tonight's moderator will have little need of an introduction, but I'll give you a small one anyway. For those who have been active in Thousand Oaks community, everybody knows Herb Gooch, a graduate of UC Berkeley in history. He holds degrees, an MBA in management, a master's in international relations, and a doctorate in political science from UCLA. And at CLU since 1987, he has been assistant provost for graduate studies, director of the Master's in Public Policy and Administration program, and chair of political science. He and his wife live in Newbury Park. He's a frequent contributor to media coverage of California and local politics, and we are very happy and fortunate to welcome tonight, I can pick those up if you want, Dr. Herbert Gooch.
Thank you, Rick. A few housekeeping matters.
Thank you.
To start with is that there are bathrooms straight out that door to the left. Please refrain during the questions and answers of applauding. It just means time's taken up and taken away from the questions and the answers. We have three parts going on here. First, we'll ask the candidates for an opening statement of 2 minutes each. Then we'll go to questions. I have some set questions. I'll ask them in a kind of serial form, starting with, say, Rob McCoy. Everybody will ask the same question. Then I'll start with Ann. I'll start with Al. So everybody gets a chance to answer the same questions. If somebody, and they would hopefully do that with a little bit, what, about a minute and a half, I think? No, I guess it's up to 2 minutes. The shorter, the better, though. If someone feels they need to make a response, that could be up to 30 seconds. Also, Adam Haverstock here will have cards so that if you have questions, write down the questions and then he can give them to me. I can merge them in with other questions or ask those in a fairly seamless way. Since there are 4 candidates, obviously we want to get to a lot of questions, so we'll try to go as quickly as possible. So opening statements, 2 minutes each. Questions, and then they'll each have concluding 2 minutes to make concluding remarks. And we'll get you out of here hopefully by 8, all right? So that having been said, turn off cell phones, try not to do any tweeting, it's simply not necessary. As Rick Limo had pointed out, we're live streaming and this will also be available on TOTV, so you can C, whatever you want later on. If I don't get to your question, I'm sorry. Probably just isn't enough time, but the candidates are usually fairly generous in their time and may stick about a little bit afterwards on a one-to-one basis. We can have some coffee, and university won't come in and drag you out of the room for 45 minutes or so. So hopefully what started here is the beginning or the continuation of a conversation. And you, by being here and by being part of the audience, it's your conversation because it's your city. Thousand Oaks, I wrote up just a few of the essentials of the background of Thousand Oaks, and just to remember where it is and sort of the contours. But here are the candidates, so let me go directly to them. Why don't we start in, or maybe I should start in alphabetical order, start with Al Adams, a 2-minute opening, and then Ann, Billy, and Rob.
All right, thank you, Dr. Gooch, and thank you to the Chamber and California Lutheran for putting the event on this evening. I was elected in 2012. I'm running for re-election here in 2016, and I had the honor of serving as the mayor of Thousand Oaks just last year. I came on the council in 12. As I mentioned, the council was divided. There was no question about it. We are now viewed as one of the most efficient city councils in the county of Ventura. In fact, the Star, who endorsed me today, said we have gone from the Tuesday night fights to peace in the valley. And I'd like to take a little credit for that. I'm a fiscal conservative, and I think I can prove it. We've had a balanced budget 4 years in a row. There's been no deficit spending. We've got a AAA rating on our bonds. Our staff is operating at a lean and mean 500, and we're running very efficiently in that regard. I promised to save taxpayer dollars, and I've done just that. We have pension reform, which is saving $2 million a year. We're saving $300,000 in Hill Canyon treatment. The theaters were in a $500,000 deficit. We fixed that. We're saving $700,000 a year on water conservation. Folks, that's $3.5 million a year I'm saving you on taxpayer dollars. I'm a business proponent. I'm working on restarting the specific plan for the Boulevard, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later tonight. We're cutting red tape in the planning department so businesses can start easier. I brought a lot of businesses in, big names like Dole, like Easton, like PennyMac, and there's more to come. And I'm working very diligently to provide entry-level housing to young people in this town. So we have a skilled workforce, and we have a consumer base, which is important for business. Maybe because of some of these reasons, the readers of the Ventura County Star picked me as the best elected official for the county of Ventura, and also as the most modest. And so I was appreciative of that. And I would just really like another 4 years because we got a lot of good things started, and I want to continue to work diligently for the residents of Thousand Oaks.
Thank you. So after Al, Ann Lapienza.
Good evening, and thank you, Dr. Gooch and CLU and the Greater Conejo Valley Chamber of Commerce, of which I am a very proud member for hosting this event tonight. I'm proud to be on this stage also with these three men who have demonstrated their commitment to our city. My name is Ann Lafianza, and I've lived in Thousand Oaks for nearly 20 years. While raising my family, I have also provided community and public service throughout our amazing city. My ballot designation will read Community Volunteer, something I am honored by. This is the most difficult designation to get approved, and I had to meet the highest standards of service to our community, proving that I am always here, always working. I had to do this with the Secretary of the State of California. And my dedication in serving you has earned me this designation. When the trees came down at Regency Plaza, I stood up as Vice Chair of the Oak and Landmark Tree Committee and founding member of Conejo Oak Tree Advocates. We strengthened the oak tree protections that were adopted by the City Council. When our schools were crumbling and our students didn't have access to the best technology, I stood up. I was on the legislative leadership team that worked for all our children and passed Measure I with 70% of the vote. When our most vulnerable citizens needed help, I stood up. As a member of the Social Services Committee, I worked to allocate over $100,000 in block grants to local nonprofits. I am an original member of the Community Group for Senior Living, advocating for Village to Village and other senior needs, and I am there listening and participating. I believe with balanced leadership and common sense solutions, we will find positive outcomes to the challenges we face. We will protect our open space with SOAR, for which I gathered 500 signatures, and preserve our native oaks, revitalize and beautify our boulevard while supporting and protecting our small business community and maintaining our small town charm, convert underused properties within the city into beautiful, affordable homes for our seniors, responsibly manage the budget, putting the needs of residents first, keep density low so as not to create more traffic and pollution. Raising my family while providing community and public service doesn't make me a novice. Quite the contrary. With nearly 20 years of continuous service and leadership in Thousand Oaks, I am the right choice to balance competing interests and to forge common sense solutions for the people of our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. No, excuse me, Bill.
My name is Billy Martin, and I'm a Thousand Oaks lover. And I thought I'd like to start out and give you a little bit of my history and qualifications in Thousand Oaks. This is my 40th year in Thousand Oaks, and I've been active in the community throughout the time I've been here. If you heard anything this year about Jungle Land, I had something to do with that. I started an effort back in October to promote the Jungle Land 90th birthday, and since then I have had the tour visit 4 different venues, and as a matter of fact now the exhibit is on display at the Civic Arts Plaza from September 25th to January 25th. I have a history of innovative thinking. My background is in marketing and advertising, and I don't think there's anything that goes on much in this town that doesn't involve that arena. Also this year at CLU, which is our flagship venue, I will be hosting the 5th and final Conejo Valley Film Festival. And very proud of the effort over the last 5 years. What I feel that it demonstrates is an effort in collaborative marketing. We have managed to produce shows in now up to 4 different venues, including CLU, the Hillcrest Center for the Arts, the Stagecoach Inn Museum, and the Thousand Oaks Library. In 2014, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of Thousand Oaks, and I was called upon by Andrew Powers to produce a calendar, and I produced and designed the 2014 historical calendar utilizing Ed Jones photographs. And also in 2014, I approached the city.
Ed Lawrence.
Did I say Ed Jones? Oh, Ed Jones,
Okay.
sorry. Ed Lawrence. My time's up.
It's okay.
You're forgiven. This once.
Okay, Rob?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rob McCoy. I've been a 15-year resident of Thousand Oaks. I wanted to say thank you to the Chamber tonight and CLU, and also you as well, Dr. Gooch. We have a lot in common. You were a history major from UC Berkeley. I too was a history major. Yours is a prestigious university. Mine was the Harvard of the San Joaquin Valley, Fresno State. I attended Fresno State. I was on an athletic scholarship. Still hold the school records there, due in no small part to the fact they've gotten rid of the swimming program. I'm honored to be with you tonight. This city has given my wife Michelle and I and our 5 children such a great gift. And the reason why I ran for office 17 months ago was to give back to the city. I've had the privilege to be a divisional manager of the largest consumer products company in America, Unilever. I've served as a pastor here in town for 15 years, an organization that has contributed over 100,000 hours of community service. I love this community. I love to serve this community, and that's why I ran for office. And I was fortunate enough to be elected by the citizens, and I'm asking, come November 8th, that you would re-elect me. My desire is to be a voice that you can speak to, and I can communicate to the other members of the council. When Al pointed out that he was in the editorial today, or yesterday in the Ventura County Star, nominated by the Star, so was I. You forgot to mention that, Al.
He's human.
Because we work together, and that's how we've achieved peace in the valley. And though there's ideological differences on the council, we do endeavor to keep civility. And I am proud to be a member of that council, and I'm proud of the other 4 members as well. And thank you for coming tonight. This is what America's all about. And I hope tonight we can answer all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Since we have here one listing, but we've got in the table people in a slightly different form, let me do this. Let me start with Rob McCoy, go down this list, and then the next question would start with Anne LaFianza. And forget this alphabetical order. It's just going to be a little confusing. The answers should hopefully be roughly 1 minute, so keep them crisp, because then we can do more questions. So starting with Rob McCoy, if elected, what will you do to encourage private enterprise to do business with the city of Thousand Oaks?
One of the things that we've been examining as a city, and one that I'm very excited about, is this concept of a green corridor, especially in our industrial sector in the Rancho Conejo area. A green corridor would be assisted by the state itself in that we would take existing infrastructure and we would provide green updates where lighting, electricity, etc. would be applied, and those funds would go to establishing a green corridor. With that upgrade, we would attract businesses that would also get tax breaks to come here to our Conejo Valley and bring their businesses and thus provide employment. The smaller businesses survive when we get larger businesses. In Ventura County, we lost 1,000 jobs. We lost 1,200 jobs in the month of August. We added 1,000. Of the 1,200 we lost, 500 were white-collar, salaried jobs that affect the entirety of the county. And of the 1,000 we added, 900 were government. Government's gotten too large. And we have to reduce restrictions upon small businesses and businesses coming here. We need to be proactive and friendly towards businesses. I've always said that I believe business in California is like the California condor. It's an endangered species. And we have to do more as a state and also as a county and as a city to encourage businesses. And that's part of my proposal. And tonight you'll hear more. Thank you.
Thank you. Anne?
I believe that we need to maintain our quality of life here. It's what encourages many corporations and companies to come. It's what attracts professionals, companies like Easton, and of course our Rams. I also think that the Chamber and the City of Thousand Oaks and Agoura Hills are already doing an amazing thing. That they are having the Tourism Improvement District. And what this does is it grows tourism revenue in the community. They're growing the number of hotel overnight stays, and the Tourism Improvement District charges a 2% fee, which is from 14 hotels that amounts to $1.1 million each year coming into our community. And since they started, tourism and the fullness of our hotels has increased by 87% as it was this last summer. I also think that as we have a great brain trust here, and Amgen is downsizing, we have an ability to have a technological and entrepreneurial hub.
I believe the question was, what would you do to have businesses do business with the city of Thousand Oaks? And we, in fact, do, in the bidding process, give local businesses a 5% advantage when it comes to bidding for city jobs. In other words, they can bid 5% higher than anybody else, but if they're here locally, we will give them the nod for the job. I wouldn't mind seeing that go up to 10%, to tell you the truth. But as far as just jobs in general, jobs are actually growing in Thousand Oaks at about a 5 to 6% rate. What's dropping are the people that we need to fill those jobs. The 22 to 45-year-olds are dropping at about a 10% rate over the last 10 years. They're leaving the city. We've got to remedy that. We need a skilled workforce here in town, and we need that. As far as providing jobs and helping business, I'm on the Economic Development Collaborative. It's a great organization. We lend money to small businesses. We've funded 5 here in Thousand Oaks so far. One of them's Mouthful Eatery. You may have gone to that restaurant. It's on the Boulevard. Luis Sanchez runs the place. He's invested his entire life savings in it. He's a brave guy for building on the Boulevard. We want to see more of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, as far as stimulating jobs and businesses, yeah, the small business is the heart and soul of the city of Thousand Oaks. And, you know, my slogan for this, for my campaign is make a great city greater. We are not a city that is down the tubes needing to be revived. We are a city that needs some economic stimulus. I think the best way to achieve bringing in the right businesses is to actually solicit businesses that we feel would work well in this city. And we would need perhaps, if you use the Boulevard as an example, that was our first frontier and that's our last frontier. And we need to start moving faster on the Boulevard improvement. Any restaurant that would move into the Boulevard would provide as much as 100 jobs. In order to facilitate those people, we need to have affordable housing so that these people can afford to live here. And if we are to set up a process whereby we can attract businesses that we would actually like to see.
Starting with Anna Mafianza, does Thousand Oaks invest enough in the development of public transportation? If not, what types of public transportation should we be investing in? And as a sidelight on that, would you support the county transportation sales tax?
I do support the county, the AA measure. And the reason why I do is because I believe that it will provide jobs for local hires. And I also believe that as our road and infrastructure funds are in deficit, that money can really help us here in Thousand Oaks with our public safety, with our traffic. I think that there are things that can help us with the transportation. I think that as we develop the Boulevard, actually, we need a trolley like Westlake has, like Calabasas has, like Ventura has, that is going to go up and down our newly revitalized Boulevard and bring people on a loop around up to Westlake Promenade, down to Lakes, by the Coble Center and Library, and back around. I think that it has been very successful. I know it's been very successful in these other areas, and I think it would be here too. Another thing with public transportation that doesn't cost any money are the village-to-village volunteers who will help with our seniors.
Thank you. Yeah, Thousand Oaks has invested a fortune in public transportation. Unfortunately, it's underutilized, it's sad to say. As far as just the roads, we have good to excellent roads. Thousand Oaks Boulevard is running smoothly. It's 4 lanes. All the intersections are A-rated. Traffic is moving in Thousand Oaks. I would like to see, we're going to come up with a transit master plan, and I told the department I want to see ride sharing incorporated into that, because I think ride sharing economy, the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world, can deliver public transportation more efficiently and cheaper than probably we're doing it. I don't see it as a replacement for public transportation, but I see it as a supplement. As far as AA, the measure AA, I got problems with it. It's 30 years long. It raises close to $3 billion. And it's not visionary. It just wants to widen freeways and pump more money into public transit, which is being underutilized as it is. Widening freeways doesn't work. I just got stuck on the 23 trying to get here, and we just spent a fortune trying to widen that one. So I just like to see something a little more visionary, where we incorporate ride sharing. And 50% of kids don't even get driver's licenses anymore. My kids have their car parked in the driveway, and they're taking Uber everywhere. We need to be more visionary when it comes to transportation. Thank you.
Billy?
As far as the public transportation in Thousand Oaks, I agree with Al. I think it's woefully underutilized, and the one portion of our public transportation that I think is a benefit to this community, especially the seniors, is the Dial-A-Ride program. As far as Measure AA, I'm also opposed to it. I don't think that there is enough in it for Thousand Oaks. In the past year, we have, in the past several years, we have improved Lynn Road, we've improved Avenida de los Árboles, we've improved Herbs Road, and we're now sinking the cables along Thousand Oaks Boulevard. Thousand Oaks tends to take care of itself. There was no county money invested in that. There's nothing retroactive to come into it. And I think the transportation tax is not to the benefit of Thousand Oaks.
I'm not only opposed to Measure AA, I'm vehemently opposed to it. I'm on the committee against Measure AA. I think that it is a 30-year debacle, putting the wolves in charge of the hen house, and it's just another grab by government. We already subsidize the rail at $40,000 a year per rider. To put a trolley downtown, each of the cities that have a trolley, it is a losing venture. We have to be far more creative, as Al pointed out, with our public transportation. I know members that are in attendance tonight of our community that use public transportation, and there was no way they could have gotten here without a private ride from a citizen. We have got to do better. We've got to come up with more creative ways. Public transportation is underutilized, and we have to figure out how to do it better. Thank you.
Certainly with Al Adam. The Thousand Oaks specific plan was approved by the city council, and yet they seem to have had difficulties in implementing it. It includes, for instance, mixed-use development. What's your opinion of it? Do you support it or not? Why?
I completely support it, and you're right, it started in 2011 and stalled for 4 or 5 years. Since I came on the council, I've worked diligently to get the specific plan started on the Boulevard. It's essential to the future of Thousand Oaks. We've got to attract some younger people to the city. We're 30% seniors now, folks, and the number is rising. I love seniors, I'm a senior myself. We're taking good care of our seniors, but we've got to think ahead and bring in a skilled workforce. I go to Amgen, I go to Infi, I go to Cirrus, I go to California Lutheran, and they say to me, Al, there's no place for our kids to live. We need entry-level housing for young people, and developing the Boulevard in a responsible way will provide that. And when we talk about developing the Boulevard, we're talking, this council is unanimous in this. We're going to start slow. We're talking Merz Road to Conejo School. We've got an infrastructure project that we want to put in that we think will lift property values, and it's going to be a town center where you can gather, a destination point, a place that we can have an identity for Thousand Oaks.
Yes, I've backed the Thousand Oaks Boulevard specific plan from day one and attended at meetings for the past 6 years. And the only problem I have with the Thousand Oaks Boulevard specific plan is that it's it's a plan for the future. Even the newest things, i.e. the mixed use portion at Lupe's, beautiful project. But it's going to take a great deal of time. I think we need to start right now and do something. We need to develop a merchants association for the businesses that are already existing on the Boulevard and start building traffic with what we have. We can have themed historical dining on the Boulevard. We also need to come up with a way to create some sort of continuity so we can connect these very diverse plots. And ultimately, we're not going to have a one-stream thing. Thank you.
The citizens of Thousand Oaks have moved forward with the downtown redevelopment. Mixed use is moving forward. The key is to move forward in a way that's resplendent and do it right. They have input from the city at these planning commission meetings. The proposal from Lupe's is an excellent one. And I think as citizens, we need to participate in this process to revitalize the downtown. It's been far too long that anything's taken place. We need to attract millennials in that sense. Some folks don't feel comfortable with that, but the reality is they've got to have viable employment. They've got to have a place to live. These are entry-level houses. We've got 400 units remaining of Measure E, and for everyone that we use, we have to get the greatest return on our investment as a city. So, yes, I'm in favor of it. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say too about the public transportation that I've talked to a lot of folks, and at $4 round trip and 3-hour rides to get to the market, it's not working for them. The trolley situation in other cities is working for people. It's free, and it's allowing people to live and move around the city that otherwise would not be able to. I am a huge proponent of beautifying and revitalizing our boulevard as long as we protect our small businesses like JC Plumbing, the Latino Market, Harold's Omelets and Decor. We also need to be purposeful, and so our slow growth principles in our oak tree preservation while building mixed use with sustainable development technologies, and make it truly affordable for our millennials and our seniors that choose to live there. Both of those populations critically need that housing from us. I really appreciated at the bid meeting that I was at last week, when there was a lot of talk about, hey, we're gonna get one shot at this. Let's do it right. And let's make sure that we focus on a center, a gathering place for our whole community first.
This will start with Billy. There are a couple of measures on the ballot in November. One and then concerning land use, the SOAR and the alternative SOAR sustain that would move 50. There's also Measure W, which would expand essentially urban boundary restrictions from stopping in 2015 to stopping in 2050. Starting with Billy Martin, what's your view of those? Do you support these core initiatives at the local and county level?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I spent some time with Linda Parks before answering this question, and signed a petition for SOAR. I think it served us well. But in the passing of the time since, I like to keep an open mind, and I know that one of the vital parts of the alternative is helping our farmers. We have some of the most fertile ground in the United States. We have as many as 3 crops a year. We're one of the largest agricultural counties in the nation. We need to do what we can. We're restricted a bit by what looks to be a 100-year drought. But I think it's unfortunate that we have 2 measures that we have to work through. I wish they had been handled in legislation or in committee before we had this. So I think we can make either one of them work. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
I'm opposed to Measure C in favor of Measure F. Measure W doesn't affect Measure F, so I'm fine with it. It deals mainly with Thousand Oaks. Measure C is a problem to me because I see it as a clear violation of the 5th Amendment in that it's reducing the property value and taking basically from the farmers land that is going to reduce its value. One of the largest contributors to Measure C is Eric Johansson, who put in $110,000, and he sits within that urban city line in Fillmore and is going to make a fortune. The farmers who support Measure F want to keep that $2 billion industry moving. And we need to protect the farmers and allow them to produce any type of crop necessary, and also be able to harvest it and send it for shipment. So I'm in favor of Measure F, opposed to Measure C, and Measure W will protect Thousand Oaks, which has no farming.
I say can win, must not fail. I support C, I support W, and I do not support F. County Commissioner Linda Parks told me that I was instrumental in getting Measure C on the ballot as I worked diligently to collect over 500 signatures for that measure. I believe that it's a quality of life issue. And again, the quality of life out here is what brings in these great corporations like Easton. It's why the Rams are here. It is why we are rated #1 and #2 city, on and on and on. When you actually read one of those, SOAR is listed in the protection of our open space. I also think that it's really great for us as homeowners because it keeps our home values very high, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, I must support Measure W because I signed it. So I think I support that as well as SOAR. SOAR and Sustain VC are both trying to do the same thing. They're trying to protect farmland, and the farmers are just going about it in a slightly different manner. But SOAR has proven it's worked. We have 10 separate cities separated by green belts. We haven't blended into one giant concrete county like Los Angeles or Orange. That's important to the quality of life out here. And you know what? The farming industry is bigger and better than ever. It's a $2.6 billion industry. 190,000 acres in Ventura County are being farmed right now. So, and sure, the farmers have their challenges, but it's not with land use, it's more with drought and the insects and competition from different countries. As far as Thousand Oaks goes, SOAR has no effect whatsoever. We love SOAR in Thousand Oaks and passed by a vast majority. However, we're a built-out community. What SOAR makes people do, though, in all 10 cities, and it's happening in Camarillo and it's happening in Ventura, you have to start looking inward instead of sprawling out. You've got to look inward as to where you want to grow, and that's smart, I think.
Okay. Last round before we go to the candidates giving their summations, and that would start with Rob McCoy. Let's assume that you're reelected and
I
10
like
years
that, I like
from
that
now-
idea.
Yeah. Let's assume 10 years has gone by. What would you look back as your proudest accomplishment on a council?
William Wilberforce was used as a statesman to end slavery in the British Empire. As amazing as that achievement was, he stated, as well as his contemporaries, that wasn't his greatest achievement. It was said of William Wilberforce that he brought civility back to government. I would like to see my greatest achievement is to realize that there are no enemies, only opportunities. And when we sit on a council together, we may have ideological differences, but we're building a community. And I would like to see that unity established in our wonderful city of Thousand Oaks. As Al pointed out, and so did the Star editorial, that it used to be called the Tuesday Night Fights. And now it's Peace in the Valley. I feel as though I played a part in that. I want to continue to. This is a wonderful place to live. We may have ideological differences, but we don't have to be caustic. We don't need to attack one another in that relation. And so that would be something that I would strive for. Issues are going to come and go, but relationships last a lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you. Ann?
If it were 10 years out and I had been elected, I would feel the most proud if we continued on the quality of our Thousand Oaks and all the things that we believe in as a community, as a tolerant community and as a community that supports one another. That we revitalize our Boulevard in a way that welcomes all of us. That we provide for our seniors in a way that is welcoming for them and all of us. That the voices that are seldom heard in our community are heard and are a part of the process in continuing on in this beautiful place where we live. Thank you.
Yeah, eventually I think of myself as a citizen legislator, and I will eventually be back on the farm again and, not up here. And when I drive around Thousand Oaks, my dream, as far as revitalizing the Boulevard, I'd like to start at P.F. Chang's and be able to walk all the way down to Lupe's and beyond and have something interesting and exciting to do all along the way. And I'm really looking forward to that happening, and we're very close, folks. We're at an inflection point. We're going to start seeing that. It's going to be charming, and it's going to be great, and my wife wants it, so I got to do it. Okay. And I would like to know that the city is in good financial shape. We're in great fiscal shape right now. I'd like to make sure when I leave, it is the same as when I came in. And my daughters go to UCSB. They're going to be back in 4 years, and by then I may be, out there sitting with you. And I want to just be able to think that I gave them a safe city. This is the safest city for women in all of the United States of America. I want to make sure we keep it that way.
I believe the question is, in 10 years, how do I envision?
You look back and say, your greatest accomplishment.
Yeah. I think I have a situation where I can provide something that doesn't exist on the current council. If you look at the current council makeup, we have four, with the exception of Rob, we have planning commissioners, and not that there's anything wrong with that. All these people were appointed at one time by somebody else. I think the special election proved that we could diversify the council makeup. I'd like to offer that I bring to the council a can-do, get-it-done kind of attitude. Having been in the advertising and marketing field, we have to take a challenge and look at it from a perspective that provides a quality kind of a solution that is a creative problem solving. We have in this city an outstanding cultural arts. We have venues that don't exist in many other cities. We have the Civic Arts Plaza, we have CLU, we have TO Library, we have Stagecoach Inn Museum, we have the Hilton, all kinds of.
Thank you. Now we'll do a final round, and we'll start with Ann. 2 minutes, concluding remarks. What would you like to tell the audience?
Well, thank you, CLU and Conejo Chamber of Commerce for hosting this forum, and thank you, Dr. Gooch. It was an honor to participate. I'd also like to thank everybody that's watching at home. I know, having raised 2 children here, and for 6 of those years running my own business, I know how hectic and valuable evenings can be. I hope you learned something about each of us that will help you make an informed vote. It's pretty obvious I'm not a politician. I'm a mom, a wife, a friend, and I'm a community volunteer, someone who throughout my life has thrived on bringing people together to solve problems. Not in a partisan or dogmatic way, but through mutual respect, hard work, and yes, showing up. I have spent nearly 20 years doing just that in Thousand Oaks. Thousand Oaks is at a crossroads, and many of us moved here because of the small town feel, natural environment, and safe neighborhoods. It's an amazing place to raise a family and to grow a business. And yet, over the years, the Boulevard has slipped into decay, seemingly populated with as many massage parlors as family-run restaurants. Routine maintenance for traffic lights, streets, and sidewalks are delayed because of chronic underfunding. Our open space and namesake Oaks are threatened by development, and with total compensation of $370,000, the city manager hurt our city through his dishonest and unaccountable actions, and yet the issues remain unaddressed. This is not okay with me, nor should it be for you. As residents of Thousand Oaks, we should expect more from our city council and the people we elect. I believe in a city where together we protect our namesake oak trees and our open space restore, improve our roads, sidewalks, and public safety, where children don't have to walk down the middle of busy streets to get to school. Bring fiscal responsibility, accountability, and transparency to the city council, support our seniors and aging population, and support our small and family-run businesses. They are the main vein of all of this. Serving on the city council is an honor and calling for me, not a stepping stone to higher office. I commit to you, if elected, I will always be here, always working on your behalf. Thank you so much.
Well, there's an old joke, Joe's running for city council. Joe's buddy says, "What's Joe been doing lately?" His other buddy says, "Oh, nothing, he got elected." Okay, so I don't want to do nothing. I've already told the staff this, and I push them, because, the wheels of government grind slowly, and you have to push to get things done, and I do get things done. And we're going to get this boulevard built, and it's going to be great. We're going to revitalize the boulevard. We're going to put in a beautiful infrastructure project in our downtown with street furniture and lighting and trees and a landscape median. It's going to be charming, and it's going to be a destination. I really want to work on that. We've got to have some entry-level housing for our young people, and I want to look for senior affordable housing and infill projects for our seniors. And we can do that at the Pinecrest site. That's coming up. And folks, the Rams, very important. Guess what the payroll is for the Rams? $200 million. $200 million they bring into the community. They employ hundreds, and they could do so much for our community, for our nonprofits, for interns at California Lutheran. It's a huge thing, and we need to find them a permanent spot, and I'm working on that already. We're a very safe city, the safest city in the state of California, second safest in the country. It's a big priority of mine. We spend the majority, well, not the majority, but a huge percentage of our general fund keeping everybody in this city safe. I'm going to continue to do that. We have great streets, we have great parks, we have 15,000 acres of open space. This is a beautiful city. It has some challenges, and I know what those challenges are. I've been around for 4 years. I've been around since 1977, actually, but in the last 4 years, I know what those challenges are, and I think I know how to meet them. So I'd really like the opportunity to do that again for another 4 years. We've got a winning formula going here. 90% of the public approves of what's happening in the city of Thousand Oaks, and I'll tell you what, folks, the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Yes, there's one thing that we haven't really talked about tonight, and that is that in the recent days we have now lost 2 of our top 4 executives. And my feeling is that we can fill these positions within our own staff already existing. My suggestion is that I believe that we have one of the finest public works departments in the nation. We could be considered America's greenest city. We have up to 30% we are considered one of the highest percentages of open space of any city in the United States. I'd like to propose that we bring Jay Spurgeon from the Public Works Department to be the new city manager, move Andrew Powers back to assistant city manager, bring John Brooks up to take on the Public Works Department, and keep Mark Town. You realize that we did a national search to fill the position of Community Development Director. We had 115 applicants. We offered the job to 3 people, and each one of them turned it down. I don't see who could turn down Thousand Oaks. I think we have everything we need here right now. We have a great city, and we need to make it greater. To get into what should be done on the Boulevard specifically would be too hard right at this particular moment. But I would like to build on what we have and keep within our boundaries and take care of Thousand Oaks first. Thank you.
One of the things tonight that hasn't been addressed is our senior population. And with the remaining Measure E units, anything that a developer desires to do, we have to really focus on our seniors. There needs to be affordable housing, even subsidized housing for our seniors. We need to work towards that. It'd be a shame to reside in a city for over 50 years and not be able to afford to live here after you come to a place where you're living on a pension and the cost of living exceeds that pension. We need to help those folks, and that'll be something I know that Alan or the other members of the council will be clearly focused on in the coming days. It's been an honor to serve on the council. I have had the privilege to get to know each and every one of them. There is a unity, even though there, as I said earlier, there are ideological differences. We work through those, we come to a consensus. I appreciate the civility of the council. It's easy to sit in a seat and complain about certain things and city managers and the like, but I sat through both of those excruciating meetings, and it was a difficult task to say the least. And I think they went through every possible effort to try to resolve that as a city, and we voted 5-0 on both occasions. This is a marvelous city. Let's continue to work to make it the best, and I would ask for your vote come November 8th. I'd be honored to be re-elected as your city councilman, and I appreciate and thank you for the 17 months that I've had the privilege to serve. Thank you so much.
Give them you don't need to, but you want to remember you deserve a round of applause because you're involved with the city. You're done. It's the magic witching hour, about 1 minute to 8. Megan Coleman and Tech and Waste Management and CLU and of course KUI TV. And you'll note that it's going to be on QTV.
Yes.
So you could recommend if somebody missed this, that'll be televised. And remember that this is the beginning of a conversation. So keep the conversation going. They're very, very accessible.
This will be.
We've got room for a little bit longer, but it is 8 o'clock, so be witching hour. Thank you very much for turning out.
It'll be available tomorrow.
Why?